Well, today is Money Monday, and many of you have sent your emails in with questions regarding your finances. And Pat, this first one is from Susanna, who says, my employer has chosen not to continue matching the amount that we add to our 401k, at least until the end of 2009. And there's no guarantee that they will resume contributions at that time. What's worse is that I have lost approximately $65,000 to date. I don't know what to do. Do you think I should leave my contribution at 6% or reduce the amount since they're not matching anymore?
Well, first of all, Susan, you haven't lost money in the stock market until you sell your stock. It's true.
That's true.
I mean, it goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. Okay. Secondly, putting your money into a 401k or into an IRA is a good deal because you put it into savings and it's deductible from your taxable income. And in a sense, it's guaranteed 20% if that's your tax rate. It's 30 or 40% if it's more. Now, you might not like the choices in your 401k. They oftentimes are limited, so you might want to take your money and put it into an IRA. So you could open, the time has gone by to do that this year, but you could open next year an IRA, an individual retirement account, depending on your tax status. But the fact that your employer puts money in or doesn't, it just makes it a better deal if he puts it in, but it doesn't negate the benefit of those savings plans. And yes, they've gone down, but if you had an IRA, maybe you could pick better. They give you a limited menu when you go with a 401k, and they may not choose as well. But stock market will come back. It always does.
Well, and as you have said in the past many times, you need to do your homework if you're going to do that. You need to know what you're putting in.
All right, what else?
Okay, this is Jay, who says, Pat, does it make sense to pay down my mortgage by making extra payments if I plan to sell the house in 5 years or less?
I don't think that you'd want to do that. If you're going to sell your house, why not, use the money for something else? I mean, it depends on what kind of interest rates you're paying and so forth. But if it's a standard mortgage right now, refinancing with only 5 or 6 years isn't a particularly good deal. And you say you plan to sell it, I hope you can find a buyer.
Okay, this is Arthur, who says, we're a retired couple with less than $100,000 in retirement savings. Given the problems with the stock market, do you think a savings account paying 2% could be a good place for us to park our money? We're afraid that the money is being eaten up by the bad stock market, and we're probably too old to play the, quote, stay in for the long run game.
How old are they again?
Well, they're retired. He doesn't actually say how old they are.
You might have another 20 years or so to live, and the question is, the stock market, 2% will kill you. I mean, if you've got 3 or 4% inflation, you're going to be losing money every year, guaranteed. It's not a question of maybe, it's guaranteed you'll lose it. If you want something that's relatively safe, the current issue of Forbes magazine has a column at the back of it that lists several stock funds that you can get that have AAA, AA stocks. There's one that has got so-called junk bonds, but you could put together several of those funds and get yourself an income of 13, 14, 12, 10%, something very high, much higher than 2%. But I certainly don't think 2% is a good deal.
Diane says, over the past year, we've seen financial institutions that have grown very large. Are there laws to keep business from getting too big?
Well, in the days of Israel, they used to have a year of jubilee every 50 years.
I'd like to see that again.
They'd redistribute wealth, but I think right now there's no law. You can grow as high as you can grow. There are monopoly laws. We've had all kinds of Sherman antitrust and so forth. The question is the company getting so big it's crowding everybody else out? Is there going to be a combination? Is there gobbling up other companies that will reduce competition in a particular industry? Well, they have laws about that, but just getting big, there's no law. All right.
This is Brad, who says, I'd like to pay off my car loan within the next year by tripling my payments. However, a friend told me to not pay off loans early on depreciating items. Currently, my credit card and car payments consume most of my income, making it difficult to save. I'm hoping that if I pay off my loan and credit card, I can use the freed income for savings. Do you think I should refrain from paying off my car loan early, as my friend suggests?
Your friend is wrong. The deal is you shouldn't have bought a depreciating asset to start with. with it. Isn't the question, once you've got one, how fast you pay it off? You know, that's why I recommend buying cars that are a couple of years old. They don't depreciate as much, and most of the depreciation, in a sense, the largest chunk of it is already gone. But nevertheless, of course, pay it off and get yourself in the discipline of saving that amount of money. And then once you've got those debts paid, you start putting that into some kind of a savings program, and it'll be much, much better. So I'd take the one that's got the biggest interest. Are you paying higher interest on your car loan? Or some car loans come out at 0% interest. So are you paying a credit card? Does it have 17, 18, 20% interest? I'd pay that down first. Okay.
Okay, Shauna says, I have 2 credit card bills totaling about $16,000. I just received an inheritance of $26,000 that I could use to wipe out the balances, but doing that would only leave $10,000 for savings. One loan has 0% interest for a limited time, but I still go crazy knowing I have credit card debt. Should I bite the bullet and pay them all off right away?
Well, Shauna, nobody wants to go crazy, so pay the dumb things off. I mean, pay them off now.
Save yourself.
Save yourself from insanity. All right, what else?
Okay, Burton says, my 89-year-old mother has 2 CDs about to mature. Each is worth about $22,000, and she's thinking of rolling them over. She's on a limited income. She'll be moving into an assisted care facility soon and has enough money to cover it for about 4 years before the family would need to pay for it. I suggested that she keep all of her assets as liquid as possible in the event of an emergency. Do you think she should keep the money liquid at her age? She's 89.
Burton, I believe that at 89, that's probably a good advice. But liquid, I presume you consider a bank CD as liquid. But I'm a great believer in getting high interest rates. So if there's something safe where you can get your money, I mean, there are these so-called exchange-traded funds that are out in the market. You can buy and sell them every day. And if they pay a higher interest rate, depends on what your CD pays. But if it pays 2 or 3%, as I say, your mother's going to be losing money in interest. But it is available. It's bank insured. And so that isn't the worst thing in the world at her age.
Good advice.
Rolling them over, you just, take them down and roll them over.
Okay, well, that's
but
all
if
the
she
time we
cashes
have.
them in early, I mean, if it's a 4 or 5 year CD, she's going to lose a certain amount of money when she cashes it in. Certainly the interest she'll lose.
It sounds like their biggest issue is having it be available when they need it.
It's available from a lot of sources, but if if you got a good fund, a bond fund or something like that, they're liquid. You can buy them and sell them all the time. But the greatest liquidity probably is in government securities. But a bank CD, look at what's there. There's a huge menu of who owes what, when it's, what penalties there, how much interest they pay, et cetera. And, then look at your options.